Alright, so sorry if I'm super loud this time. I just recorded it and you cannot hear me over the sound of the game. So, to start off, I guess I'm on level 1 here. So, I'll just go down to the list. Go down the list. Ooh, that's loud. I see why. There's the movement. I have double jumps. And I actually added a shift sprint, so you can see that right there. The double jumps. There you go. There's the double jump. Sorry, I get stuck playing it sometimes. Anyway, so I will go over that. Well, let's go over that. So I have my player controller. Here's where I'm getting my. So basically, I get my input.getX is horizontal, so that's my X. And these two are the same. One of them just multiplies it by the sprint boost. So for these lines right here, I just get my input.getAxis horizontal and store it in move input. And I send it over to pawn.move with as a vector too, obviously. Since we're not doing Y movements with this sort of input, I don't have to worry about that. And really quick, I'm going to pop on over to my jump. All I'm doing is adding, or I'm going to go over here to my move. I meant really quick since I didn't go over jumps yet. Move. All I'm doing is sending in my move input as my direction.x and applying it to my RV's velocity. So that's why it moves like that. And since it's input.getAxis, that's why you kind of, well, I have a bunch of drag on there too, so there's a bunch of reasons why it moves how it does and the gravity is high, but yeah, so that's that. And now I'll go over to the jump on the player controller. So there's a kind of a lot going on here. When you hit space, it says if get button down jump and you have more than your current jumps, you can just jump. If you have more jumps than 0, you can just jump. And then this will play the jump sound and send it off to jump, which sends it off to jump, which is kind of the same thing as the move, but it adds the velocity of your X and your jump force to your Y. So you kind of keep your movement that you're going with your X, and then also you just shoot up, and that's what makes it look like you like jump. And obviously, then the gravity pulls you back down to complete it. So let's hop back over to the player controller. And also, current jumps and max jumps is on pawn as well as is grounded. So then this is how you get the double jumps, this whole thing together. So if you have more than 0 on your current jumps, you can jump. But if you don't, if you hit space and your current jumps is equal to 0 and you're grounded, then it will let you jump. So that's kind of how you stop it from letting you do it again. And that's also why the sound doesn't play when I keep hitting space and I have no jumps left. So there's that. This is here if you're playtesting, or not playtesting, but if you're playing it and you get to the second level and you want to get out, since the second level has no exit thing unless you die, or you can hit escape and it will quit too. So now that I have gone over my jumps, you saw my player is indeed affected by gravity. I set the gravity scale super high. It's at a 15, and my jump force is a 70, which now that I have the double jumps, let me take that down a little bit. And you can see with the super high gravity and drag. Oh, that's kind of perfect. Oh, yeah. So that's that. that's that. Um, Weird. Okay, I'm sorry for the long pause there. This was not the sound I had picked before. Okay, you know what? It's a sound. I'll change it back to the one that I had found before. Huh, that's weird. I don't know why it's a different sound now. Anyway, it was just I literally just filmed this and it was a different sound. That's why I stopped. But anyway, train of thought. Get going again. Animation. As you can see, I have animation when he runs and jumps and stands still. So that's cool. It's controlled actually through the player controller because I was trying to design it so that I could change this to a player one controller. I don't know if you had to have like a player one and player two controller, but I was thinking about how, or no, it's on the player pawn. That's what it is. I don't know if I need to have a player one pawn or player two pawn, but it's on it so I could just change this to player one pawn maybe. That's where the dead zones come in. Um, so yeah, here's my I have it set so the designer can decide these and you'll just have to look over that really nice because why like you have to match up all those. I went through it. Um so basically here this whole thing, so I have my jumps first and all four of these are for jumps and it's basically just to make sure you're always facing the right direction when you jump. They're all set to 0 because I'm programming and I'm not trying to focus too much on designer stuff right now. So, with if you tweak with these and stuff, you can see when I jump in the game, sometimes he faces the wrong way. You could tweak with the you could mess with those by doing this, by changing these numbers so that the dead zone is different and that animation won't play until it's further out on that axis. So, or until there's more velocity on that axis, I should say. And then the bottom two are walks. I have it as walk two because I made two walk animations just to kind of test out what it looked like with an extra frame in it, and the first one looked awful, and I never changed it back to walk one. So walk two is the walk animation, and it obviously this is set so that when it's less than it says animation dead zone. Um, which I guess I actually need to add in two more variables for each of these, maybe for walk, so that they're not all tied together. And I know I'm saying this in the video to turn it in, but you'll see it in the final. It's whatever. It works for now. These will have to be different variables though. But what it's saying is basically since I haven't set this at 0, if it's uh if it's less than 0, flip the sprite. SR I have set on my pawn, so that's where I'm calling it from. It's just a sprite renderer on the pawn. Um, and it comes with this built-in flipping I guess it would be a method, this method to flip it. So this when your velocity is less than 0, so it's negative, you're facing left, it flips your sprite. And this when it's greater than 0, you're not facing left, so your sprite isn't flipped. And that can save some work on, you know, the animator side or whatever. And then this else statement at the bottom is just so that if you're doing nothing, you have the idle animation. But I did this whole jump thing. The reason why it's actually split up into these two, where the y is less than 0, and it's 2 because for facing each direction, I have the sprite flip. But I have the for less than, so that if you're falling, you play the jump animation, and he kind of looks like he's falling. That's why I did that. So obviously I have my sounds. You saw a little bit in my controller when I hit space. It plays this sound, the jump sound that it gets here. It's up here too. It's from an audio source on an object that I tagged with jump sound. A lot of the player's audio is actually tied to the main camera. So it's on an empty under the main camera, and then I just have them sorted up here with tags. And that's how it finds them. The walker though has his death sound on it. It has his death sound on it. Whoa! What is that? Okay, so okay, so where was I again? So as you saw earlier, the item pickup, here's my script really quick, is kind of the same as the jump sound. I have an object in there under the camera that I find. And I play it when I collect it. Coin collect dot play. Coin collect. So it goes and finds this coin collect on the main camera, and then it plays the audio sound. Um, Let me see if it's still that weird sound. Maybe it somehow got switched. I have no idea why it's like that. Hmm. Okay, well, you know what? It can just stay 33 or whatever I just set it to right now. I'll fix it back to the coin sound. That dude that gave me the sound pack so kindly labeled all of his sounds just sound and then a number. So I have to go through all of it. Since I'm here on my game, I guess, here's my checkpoint. I didn't have anything to identify when you go through it. I was gonna switch the sprite or give it an animation. I have one where the screen's lit up. I just haven't done it yet. But I walked across it, and then if I fall down and die, I'll come here. And just to show you, I'm not lying. I don't know if I did it earlier in the video, but if I fall off over here, I'll come back to the start. And now, if I get all the way back over there without dying, and I pass this, now if I fall off, there we go. So, if I go over to my script, I have a checkpoint script, and all I do is I have a... Ooh, I don't like that I did that really quick. Sorry about the kid in the background. So I have a vector 2 called point update that's just set equal to whatever this script is on, which is the checkpoints, and it sets point update equal to that, and then it sets my respawn point in game manager equal to the point update to update the respawn point. So where is it? On player death, you'll lose a life, and then you'll go to your respawn point, which is a variable I have up here that literally, it's a vector 2 that just gets set in the checkpoint script, and then your position gets set to it here. And then obviously when you die, it loads the other screen. But for now, where is my thing? For now, the music is done in an even simpler way. I have it up here in the audio. It's just called level 1 music, and you just create an empty, put an audio source on it, and I just have it play on awake. Just for sake of getting all of this. I don't know how loud this is for you. It's just some music loop that plays over and over again. Um, so yeah, that's the music. I have like something like that for every scene. Um, and then I guess I'll show you the multiple screens since I can now show you the start screen and all of that. I'll just go through scenes right here really quick and first show you them, then I'll go through it. Yeah, let's save changes that scene. This is my start scene. Um, I guess I can show you this from here. I have something called on my main canvas called main menu buttons, which hold a start button and a quit button. And on the main menu, there's a piece of script attached, which literally just has two methods in it. One's called public void play game, and it just loads the scene after the main one by increasing the index. And so it'll load whatever screen is next. That doesn't have to be level 1. It can be whatever. But this is what happens when you hit start. And then it doesn't work until you build it, which I will make sure there's a build in this repo this time. But this quits when you hit the quit button. If you do it, I have debug.log, so if I hit play and I do it right here, I can at least see that the button is clicking and connected to that script. I have each screen as like a scene. So here's my victory screen, and the only thing attached to it is a script that just has a coroutine on it, which actually is just a 3-second wait on a scene load. And it just loads the next scene. I was trying to do that so I could reuse this victory screen, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know if you can put scenes in multiple places or whatnot, but we will find that out. And then my next scene is my game over scene. This just has a few buttons on it under something called game over. It has the title text game over, then it asks you to continue, and then under that there's a yes button, a no button, and a slash. That's just an empty object with a slash text thing on it. So this button is the same as the other ones. If you go here and scroll over them, you'll see the yes and the no kind of highlight. And then this, if you hit no, it will take you back to the main menu. And if you hit yes, it will take you back to the first level. So, and this is level 2, really quick. It's here, it's unfinished, but there it is. So, we'll just go through this whole thing in here. And I'll just show you it start. And then I guess I'll just die really quick. What am I doing? So here I'll die. Game over. Continue. Yes. And now I'm going to kind of do this. I'm going to do what's called a pro gamer move. Just bring myself to the end of the level. And there's my victory screen. And here we are. So, as you can see really quick, I'm just going to fix it the next thing. It's not really part of this assignment. So, coin pickup, I had jump sounds, all that. I had checkpoints, a start screen, a victory screen. My comments just explain what something is really quick, unless it's, one line of code that I can just read. That's about it. And I just recorded that whole thing without a screen capture.